So NATO stages a massive drill, the biggest one they've had in 36 years, since the end of the Cold War, of 90,000 troops and 25,000 tanks, according to a Metro article from the UK. What is the leadership of Europe thinking? I'll tell you what they're thinking. Originally, Europe, many European countries did not want to go along with the war, in Ukraine. Germany, in particular, the Germans had a trade relationship with the Russians. They brought in raw materials for their industry that they can then export through the European Union. But the Germans were left with a choice. They can either side with Russia or side with the United States. Well, they sided with the United States because Germany does not have its own military. Therefore, it doesn't have its own foreign policy. Not in the military sense, at least. So what that means is that Germany sacrificed itself, its economy, its what little independence that it had for this puppet regime in DC, which is gutting the German economy. You talk about Europeans. The average Westerner does not perceive Russia attacking them. Okay? Now, a lot of people are aware of what was going on in Ukraine since 2014. Even people that aren't aware of that, they're not. A lot of them don't care, and of those that are not aware but do care, the useful idiots. Okay, it's a war that's far away from them. Okay, so they're preparing. They're wargaming a possible confrontation with Russia. I don't think that's going to go over very well. Okay, because a lot of Westerners are not going to want to fight in that. Because they understand the situation. They understand how corrupt their governments are. These are the same governments that brought in millions of migrants from the Middle East. This is the same governments that have curtailed their freedoms, their First Amendment rights, that had locked, some of these countries that had locked everything down in 2020. They do not enjoy wide support. The reason why they're there is partly because of the United States, because of the corrupt regime in Washington, D.C., and partly because they are parliamentary regimes. They have coalitions of parties where if you get somebody, say, from the alternative of Deutschland, right? But see, they can't. It's like they need a supermajority to try to really change anything in Germany. So, this is not going to go very well. The average American is sick and tired of this regime, this NATO regime. We're spending money and resources to protect Europe. Europeans, which are very capable of protecting themselves. But see, since Europeans don't have to do that, they have this over-bloated welfare state. Okay, and then that's caused all kinds of problems over there. So this whole thing's got to end. It's going to have to start with the United States, and then the leaders of the EU are going to have a rude awakening when they find out that the United States is no longer able to protect them, either for political reasons or for economic reasons. We're trillions of dollars of debt. We may even lose the reserve currency status, our currency. So if you're in Europe, you better be getting prepared for some big changes over there. Okay, one way or the other. If this thing goes on, this charade goes on, be prepared for all sorts of crazy stuff to happen from your leadership that you probably don't support, and or if the United States pulls out, then the European countries are going to have to start doing foreign policy on their own.